I decide that it's fantastic.
That's a conscious
It's a conscious
choice.
decision. Yeah, it's a conscious decision to say that my best day is in front of me, and that's today. It's a conscious decision.
That's a conscious
It's a conscious
choice.
decision. Yeah, it's a conscious decision.
It's now. The best time is now, right?
The best time is now. The best place is here.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So how's it going today for you?
How is it going? It's Noah's birthday. He's 12.
Yeah,
He
that's
just brought
awesome.
treats at his school. He wanted crepes for his class, but he had crepes on Sunday, no, on Saturday. And I wanted to do some for him yesterday, but Bella Joy was sick for 2 days at home.
Yeah.
So I was a little late in my work. And so I just bought store-bought things, treats.
Like what kind of treats?
I went to Kroger. I got their private selection, a mix of brownies, madeleine, muffins,
Nice.
drinks, and yeah, a mix
So
of.
is it just called Kroger where you live?
Yes.
Because it's King Soopers here, but it's the
Yeah,
same.
it's the
It's the
same. I
same
know.
multinational
It's
corporation.
multinational. I've seen the
Private
same.
selection label. Yeah.
Yeah, in North Carolina. I have a friend, Birgit, that she watches us every day.
Oh,
Birgit, I love
hey,
you.
thank you for watching us.
Birgit watches us and likes us every day. And
That's
so,
awesome.
yeah, she's my good friend from Germany, and she lived here in Michigan until about 2 years. She moved to North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
We spent a week with her, maybe 2, 3 summers ago for
Nice.
4th of July. We went, yeah. And I love her. I love you, Birgit. I miss you.
So you said North Carolina?
In
North
Raleigh?
Carolina.
Raleigh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, she's part of my faithful friends. I have a lot of faithful friends, and
Love it.
no, I have a lot of friends, and I won't say few faithful friends, but I do have few extra faithful and precious ones, and
Oh,
Birgit
I
is
like
one
that.
of them. Yes,
Yeah, I love
extra
that.
special. Yes, she is for me all the time, 100%. Right. So
That's amazing. It's
for
good to
women,
have people like that in your life, for sure.
it's very, very, very important,
Yeah.
and she is one of the things that I love the most about her, and which is a quality that I really appreciate in people now more so, even more than ever, is being non-judgmental,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
accepting. Birgit loves unconditionally, and she is non-judgmental, and she's very content. She's somebody who is very content of her life. What she has, is not walking around looking around of what else can she get. So
Right. Yeah. That's a great ideal to live into. And what you
yeah.
described, that's how I aspire. That's who
Mhm.
I aspire to be as well.
Yeah. So tell me about, I know I've been working on that as part of my book, as a big part of my book,
Hmm.
Shame. And I
Hmm.
felt like I touched a soft spot, a tender spot of you
Oh,
yesterday.
tame the shame. Tame
It.
the shame.
Yeah.
Tame the shame. Yes,
Uh-huh.
I mean, our relationship with shame is something that we can probably reassess, I think. And for me, for sure, I could reassess it because I grew up with a lot of shame in my life, and
Mhm.
there's still a lot of shame around money, especially. There's shame around money. There's shame around that I didn't live into what I thought were my parents' expectations of me, and then there's always shame that I can go back to of things that well maybe I regretted doing that.
Mhm.
You know,
So there is a difference, and I heard that also yesterday, between guilt and shame.
uh,
They look alike, but I am, guilt is because of something that I did, and
uh,
shame is because of who I am. So it's
mm,
different when you say I am ashamed of things that I did. It's more related to guilt. So the thing to look there maybe is the guilt. Why did you do it? More so than the shame, because
well,
shame.
yeah. The one thing I was thinking of is well, there are several things that I could come back to, but one I remember one time in college I was this is hard for me to say, but I'll say it anyway.
So
I
it's
won't. I
good.
won't yeah.
Good
So
saying it.
I was extremely frustrated that a friend of mine was getting a lot of recognition for the organization we were in, and I felt the same quality of work to get our organization on track, but I wasn't getting any recognition. And so one time in my frustration, I punched him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the shame comes from, was like, I'm not that kind of person. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the kind of person.
How old were you when that?
Oh, geez, 20, 22.
So when you were
20,
22, you
23, maybe. Yeah.
23, you punched someone because you were having an argument. You just didn't go to him and punch him, right?
We were talking. We weren't having an argument. We were just talking. And it was after the end of the year kind of celebration, our dinner that we had for our organization, and everybody was there, and he had gotten all this recognition and all these awards from our organization, and I felt like I deserved some, and I didn't get any recognition, and so it was my frustration, right?
Okay,
My
so
frustration that I wasn't being acknowledged the way he was, and I wanted to.
What happened? What happened after you punched him?
I was like, I'm so sorry about this, and
So right away, right after doing it, you
he was looking at me like, wow, you know, and I was looking inside at myself, going, wow. You know, but we got together with some other members. We talked it out. I did get some recognition at the next meeting for all of the work I had done, but I felt like that was sort of patronizing at the time, right? Because, you know, so.
And you still feel shame about that, or have you processed?
I've processed it now. Otherwise, I don't think I would be able to talk about it. You know,
so it's not limiting you anymore.
I don't think it's limiting me anymore. And one of the things I learned from that was to cultivate the idea that I acknowledge others, but I don't expect any acknowledgement. Nobody has to acknowledge me because I'm the master acknowledger of myself. So if I want acknowledgement from somebody for a good job, I'm my own best.
Yeah, you self-validate.
Yeah.
You self-validate. Okay. But just to come back to that event. So when we talk about taming the shame generally, that I mentioned yesterday, it's bringing light to, is it talking about it? What does that mean for you? Like, I'm just provoking here because I came up with the word.
It means when you say tame the shame, it means don't allow it to be an undisciplined monster in your life.
Yeah.
Shame that's what it means. Don't allow it to, I mean, in simpler language, don't allow it to control your life.
Yes.
Right?
So because what's the definition of tame? That's interesting. So what do you tame usually? You
tame things that are wild. So don't let your shame be wild, right?
Yes,
right.
because, and I think that distinction is very important. Shame is a feeling. Mm-hmm. It's an emotion, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not good or bad, because we tend to divide the emotions in good and bad,
So maybe we say tame your response to shame.
Yeah, right? But let me finish on that thought. I have something I think that is interesting and helpful, because we like to, when we say tame it, it's almost like it's wild and it's bad. Mm-hmm. But what I want to underline here, and I think that's important, is in this book, Emotional Agility, mm-hmm. It's a very good book. She talks about, she's from South Africa, and she talked about how you can master your emotions. Mm-hmm. And she said, emotions, they're not good or bad. They're just signposts to something deeper. It might mean that you are not living up your value, something that is important to you, and something is happening. So when it's happening, you look at it. What is it pointing me to? And she said, if you divide, you say it's good, it's bad, they become a monster.
Yeah.
So when you say taming the shame, it means just go to the bottom of it, go to the root, what is behind, because it's not the shame itself that is bad. It's maybe your thoughts underneath, you know?
Right. It's who you're being around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yes, shame is not a problem. It's even something maybe to be grateful for, because it's something we fear, and there is the reason. So it's big. Like I said, it's a big part of my book, and I don't know why I talked about it yesterday with you, but it's something I have been working on, just in bringing light.
It was in the video you sent me.
Oh, okay. In the
Yeah, and I thought it really, that was one of the things that really struck me in terms of the language.
You didn't. I'm thinking you didn't give me a feedback that I asked you. You just said that.
I know, because it's like I would want to have an extended period of time where we can do that, and I like to write a long text. For me, I'm like, oh, I'd rather just have a conversation. Yeah.
But it's very important, because I found that it's the road to, for me, freedom and self-expression, full self-expression. And yeah, basically those two things, because it has been big in my life too. I come from a culture that is very based on shame, that is shaming people. So you have you almost have to be, they say, oh, this person is shameless, you know, and that's bad. Almost like shame is a virtue.
Yes. Yeah.
Shame is a virtue.
Yeah.
And I've realized in my own life, with, you know, all the work that I have been doing these past 3 years, that it hasn't served me. That shame hasn't served me. And the work I'm doing is really to bring everything to light. When I say I am an open book, or when we have this conversation, you know, this being together, it's really to bring light. And even for someone who is listening to us and who is Christian, for example, for me, like I am, it's the light of Jesus. You know, when you bring light to it, there is no more darkness. You know, when something is black, dark, you bring it to light, the darkness disappears. So whatever is keeping you captive, whatever is kind of binding you, bring it to the light, right? So tame the shame.
Yeah. So this is interesting, because it goes back a lot of times when I think of shame, I think of the story in Genesis where, you know, Adam and Eve, they're in the garden and they're naked and they're not even ashamed. They're not even, can you believe that? And then when they eat
and that their
eyes
of
knowledge, then all of a sudden their eyes are open. Oh, we should be ashamed because we're wandering around this garden naked.
They came up with it, and they came up with it, you know, they were okay. Yeah. It's like children. For me, it's like children. They walk around naked. They don't care.
They don't care. They don't care about it until somebody says, you know, here's the knowledge that you need.
No, people shame them. People say, hide this. It shouldn't be out. Shame on you. And then they start developing.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
Shame on you. So it's a big thing. And Brené Brown too talks about it.
Yeah, but I think Brené Brown is what I've seen of her work. It's all centered around that, on dealing with
vulnerability. And she did a great work on it. So I think it's an interesting place to grow, to you know, dive deep into it for growth and freedom and self-expression and all of that.
The other thing that I liked about it, though, is I'm a student. I'm a master of hypnotic language. I'm creating myself that way. And you know, the use of language is the most important thing that one can develop. And so when you say tame the shame, and then I had a sister on that, it has an alliterative quality to it, and it rhymes as well. So it's it's hypnotic language.
It is, and I like that. So. It's big. It's big, and it's not from me. I heard it from a guy that I don't remember in an interview I was watching. I have to, like, if I use it, I'll have to make sure that I cite where I found it. So it's important, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can formulate all sorts of catchphrases and things like that that become much more powerful in getting your message across to people.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Which I love. You know, I love that. And my experience also as a musician allows me to think about the cadence and the tone and the volume and the timbre and all
Yeah,
this
like
other
it.
stuff that appears in spoken language that doesn't appear in written language,
In
which
written, yeah.
I think is
They're
interesting.
they're beautiful, and there are some things too, the prose and the punctuation when you're reading a poem. I love reading poem more than listening to
Yes.
poetry. So it's anyway, but it can be very beautiful too, listening to it.
Yeah.
They both have their beauty and their
So one thing, actually, we're coming close to the end here today, but another thing I was thinking of, and what I sent you this morning, that was an assignment I had from my coach, Eric Lawfoam, who asked me to write a document on who I am as a sales professional. And one of the things that I noticed is that a lot of the words around that are trigger words for me, and I think they will be for a lot of other people. So I'd be interested to know what your trigger words are. It's like, what words do you hear that automatically produce a negative response?
So I have to think about them right now. What are trigger words? I'm writing it, and then I pay attention. I know that there are something that trigger me automatically, but I have to think about it and come back to it.
Yeah. So a couple of them for me were, this is interesting, sales, right? So that was a trigger word. Professional, that was a trigger word. Prospect, client, lead,
selling,
and selling in general. Those were all sort of.
For me, maybe selling.
Yeah. So one of the things in the document was, I am willing to remove the stigma from these words.
Yeah.
I'm willing to consciously remove the stigma from these words, because there are no better words in a lot of cases to describe it, and why skirt around the issue, right? Just remove
the lie behind.
Yes.
Yeah, because a word is inoffensive. It's just a word. It's your belief. So it's
your belief behind it. Yes.
What's behind.
Yeah, and a lot of people in the United States, especially, have when they think of sales.
Yeah, and selling.
It gets into there's sort of this
taking advantage, that you're taking
advantage of somebody. You're slick and you're convincing, and you're not genuine.
Instead of serving.
Instead of selling is serving, or what Stacey Bateman says, selling is coaching.
Of course.
Yeah, selling is coaching. Coaching is selling. Yeah.
Because
you're selling people on ideas.
Yeah, but for me, it's not even. I see what she means. Like, you're selling on ideas, but it's for me, in the idea of serving. The use of ideas that will serve you. It's if I bring to you a new way of thinking that allows you to get better results, to get your goal, to be more happy. That service.
Yep.
It's maybe
you could say selling is service too. You could say you could equate them that way as well.
Because you sell something that it's a value.
It's value, and you're providing your customer or your client with value.
Yeah, so it's a value. Yeah.
Anyway, we could go on about that.
We can go on, and I for me, because I have a personal appointment right now. Somebody who is trying on some clothes and need me to call
and
her.
Is this? Is it over Zoom?
It's over Zoom. Yeah, it's I had a show last week, and with another client who just got there, and she texted me during the call to say, can you call me so we can do.
Well, you're going to serve her powerfully, and she's going to look fabulous.
I am going to serve her right now.
That's right.
Yeah, so I'm going to do that now.
All right, so everybody, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Yeah, thank you. You take care.